So I'd like to put it out there first. It does not make me happy to do this video. Not looking forward to this one. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I'm Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about Bloodsport. In particular, we're talking about Bloodsport in London, which is taking place this weekend at the end of September. And yeah, we're just going to have an open conversation about what's going on with Bloodsport currently and sort of why some of the reactions have been a bit negative towards the show. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them as we dive into this. Starting with Bloodsport as a whole. Now, I have checked out a bit of Bloodsport. I'm not like a die-hard Josh Bonnet Bloodsport fan. I'm not a die-hard GCW fan either, because there's so much wrestling to keep up with, and that's sort of a promotion that's not like I've not been able to check out fully as Bloodsport. But I have checked out some of the matches when some of my favourites like Jonathan Gresham, like Nattie Neidhart and Pete Dunne and people are on the shows as well. That's the kind of like vibe that I get from Bloodsport. It's the sort of big import people coming in and doing their thing, because they have had some big names attached to the show. And when Bloodsport was announced for the Electric Ballroom in Camden, I think myself, like a lot of other British wrestling fans, we got hyped. We got very, very hyped, because if you look at some of the lineups that have happened for the Bloodsport shows, Jonathan Gresham, Zack Sabre Jr., Miyu Yamashita, Nattie Neidhart, Pete Dunne, Karrion Kross, just to name a few of the big names that were brought across for these shows and did a different style of wrestling that we don't usually see. You know, Pete Dunne is currently wearing an El Grande Americano mask on WWE, and then you see him in Bloodsport and you're like, okay, this is the Bruiserweight, this is the Pete Dunne that we've wanted. Nattie Neidhart as well, doing this really cool indie stuff. And the announcements have pretty much been made. I don't think there's going to be any further announcements to Bloodsport. And I think, like a lot of other people, it's just a little bit underwhelming. It's sort of, I get it. You know, there's some good names there. Some of the names that I really, really want to see at Bloodsport, like Chris Ridgway, like RPD, like Anthony Ogogo. I think they are some really good names that wrestling fans and British wrestling fans will be excited to see on Bloodsport. But the issue is, GCW and Josh Barnett's Bloodsport as a promotion have set a precedent for these Bloodsport shows, and that is you get a lot of talent from different companies coming in. So I think the main reason that people are sort of feeling a little bit sort of down on this show currently is because of that, because they set such a high expectation of talent that you are probably going to see in the wrestling sphere. Now, granted, there's a lot of MMA guys on there, UK MMA guys, who I'm not familiar with, too much MMA that I'm unfamiliar with. You know, they're probably awesome, they're probably going to do absolutely fantastic work. But comparing that to the Bloodsports in the US, where you have these talents like Yamashita, Nattie Neidhart, and the names that I've listed above, Zack Sabre Jr., coming in and doing shows there, I think it's a little bit underwhelming in that regard, and I think that's why sort of fans are not necessarily feeling Bloodsport, particularly when it was announced. It was announced and people were like, oh my god, they're doing Bloodsport in the UK, I cannot wait. And then it took a while for the announcements to come in, and when each announcement came, we were like, okay, there's going to be someone big, surely. Who's it going to be? And we never really got that, unfortunately. Like, the one that I'm most excited for is probably Chris Ridgway, because Chris Ridgway is absolutely fantastic, and I love RPD as well. I think they're both great. Anthony Ogogo as well. A big fan of Anthony Ogogo. Those are the three that sort of really caught my eye when I was seeing the announcements come through. But there was no Pete Dunne, there was no Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, even some of like the other UK indie guys who were sort of based around hard-hitting styles. And there being no women's match announced for this, because for me, I was just, as this was going on with a Progress show as well, it's like joined up with a Progress show, I was like, Rio's going to be on there, definitely. Kanji would be a great fit for Bloodsport, but we currently have no women's match announced for Bloodsport. I was just under the assumption that pretty much Nattie Neidhart was going to be there. My theory, maybe I got this hyped up myself, I thought it would be Rio versus Nattie Neidhart at Bloodsport. Maybe I got myself too hyped for that. Maybe that was too much fancy booking, but those are kind of the expectations that we sort of put onto these shows when they've had such a rich history of bringing in massive names. I think the other thing that does sort of go against Bloodsport and the way the sort of the fan sentiment towards it right now is the prices. They're pretty steep. You know, they're London prices, electric ballroom prices, 50 quid for a standing ticket for Bloodsport, when there's, you know, pairing that with maybe you're not getting the imports from the US that maybe you thought you were getting. That is looking a bit steep for wrestling fans. You can get it as a joint combo ticket with the Progress show. I think the Progress show looks really, really good. Camden Lockdown, you've got Kanji versus Nina Samuels on there. You've got the new heel Cara Noir debuting. You've got Owadison versus Ricky Knight Jr. I think that card is looking pretty good. They haven't announced a Man Like Darius match yet because Darius is in the States, so I think we'll get that very, very soon. Same with Rio. Well, Rio's doing an open challenge. I swear to God, if they do Nattie Neidhart there, I will be like, my mind will be blown. I'll be so confused as to why that didn't happen on Bloodsport. But yeah, the ticket prices compared with the imports not necessarily coming in for Bloodsport, I think, you know, if you'd have had a massive name on there like Pete Dunne, you probably could have had like a sold out electric ballroom. But I think that is why some of the fan sentiment is a little bit more negative towards Bloodsport. I don't think this is necessarily the launching pad that GCW and Josh Barnett wanted for Bloodsport going forward, and with them making their debut in the UK. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because obviously you can't always get imports. You can't always get insane talent coming across and doing their thing. But it's a tricky situation that you could argue is, one, fans' fault for getting too hyped, but two, is also GCW and Bloodsport's fault for having previous shows with insane WWE talent, New Japan talent, Noah talent, all beating over there. And yeah, so I don't necessarily know how this show's going to do. It's also not airing on Triller. I think the only way you can watch this, I'm sure I read this, the only place you can watch this is in the ballroom, is there live, which I think is cool. I like every now and then those things being kept intimate and being kept out of the public eye so that people can just go there, enjoy it, know it's this one-off experience that no one else will be able to experience as well. It won't be filmed, it won't be anything like that. So I do actually like that as an idea, and I hope it works out because I want to see more Bloodsport in the UK. The more wrestling we get here in the UK, the more people start coming over, and the better they do, it's better for us as British wrestling fans. But I think as a first step, maybe not the best first step that Bloodsport could have taken, which is a shame because I'm really looking forward to hopefully having more Bloodsport here in the UK. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Are you going? Let me know and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support and have a nice day.